Hey, welcome back to Oddie's Angling TV. Today we're going to talk to Daniel O'Kelly on bait. Now this guy is a serious angler. He's a full-time angler, and what he doesn't know is not really worth not knowing. So sticky baits is what you're using at the moment, but let's go back through the history of bait, and let's go back to the good old days of Nash, Catchem.
Well, the first hutchie, the first base mix I ever rolled was Addicted, and I just put a drop of mulberry in it, and I shocked my parents with the smell of it in the house for starters. And never forget my dad's face when he walked in and smelled it.
Secret Agent was worse though.
Yeah.
Secret Agent just stuck to your hands, and everything you touched smelt Secret Agent.
Yeah. Well, after the mulberry didn't get accepted too well, so I didn't.
No, it's funny. One of my first baits that I used in Ireland was SBS. Do you remember SBS?
SBS, yeah, I remember them. Yeah.
Well, SBS did a base mix, and they did a flavour called Black Cherry EA, ethyl alcohol, and I made up these boilies and chucked them in my mum's freezer. And a couple of weeks later I went to get the boilies, and my mum was cooking some food out of the freezer, like I think it was meat and stuff, and everything tasted of black cherries, and the whole freezer was tainted. Everything smelt and tasted like black cherries. Everything, she actually had to bin everything out of the freezer.
Yeah.
So I was pretty much banned from making bait in my house after that.
Yeah, it's not a popular subject, is it?
No. But over the years, I think we've all organically grown. We all started off using ready-mades, and once we started rolling our own, we made our mistakes, and a lot of us used sort of baits that were as instant attractors as we could make them. But I don't follow that route anymore.
No, I've gone that way myself. I'm more into food, more into high nutrition.
See, but this is the whole kernel of bait, the idea that Fred Wilton's 1970 whatever idea that carp could recognise the protein level in a bait. Now, not necessarily how much protein is in it, but they could understand that certain baits held a higher nutritional value and therefore would be better for them to ingest, and they would seek them out in preference to other stuff on the bottom that wasn't high nutritional value. I don't really think that's the case. I don't think carp are that refined in their ability to work out. I think they do have preferences, and I think they do have a feel-good factor after eating stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think they can actually pick up a bait and go, oh yeah, that's better than that one over there. That's only 20% protein. This one's 60% protein.
Well, they are. Well, I mean, they can obviously sense food sources. I mean, you can go somewhere, throw sweet corn into fish that have never seen sweet corn. They know it's food. They can pick up the food signals from it. I do think that better quality fish meals and better quality baits, as I said, after working on Burgoy for 5 years, and I've seen all the different bait companies from all over Europe, I've seen all the different baits, and yes, a round bait will always get a take no matter what it is. They'll always try it once. You'll get a run on every bait at least once. They've got to test it to see if it's good or bad. But you did see the better quality baits did outfish the cheap stuff. Yeah. The cheap, well, I'm not going to start naming companies, but
go on, name them. We all know who they are anyway,
Well, no, there's lots of them out there. I don't want to start naming people. I've already probably got myself shot for me hook comment earlier.
Yeah. But so you would prefer to not, fish a high attract visible bait. I notice you've got 2 jars there. Pick them up for me, will you?
Well, what I'll do is snowmans. I will always
tip a high nutritional value bait or a food bait with one of them.
No, don't get me wrong. Sometimes fish aren't feeding, and curiosity is how you catch them.
Yeah.
If they're not hungry and they're not feeding, they're not like us. They're not warm-blooded. They don't need to eat as much as we do, and sometimes they're not eating. And
some of us actually eat a bit more than others.
Yeah, the fellow on my right. Anyway, yeah. So something like that. I really like the colour pink. I think it contrasts every colour of water. I think it stands out in dark water, bright water, coffee coloured water.
Who do you think you are, Danny Fairbrass? He's a big pink user, isn't
Is he?
Yeah, no,
a
he is,
bit
yeah.
pinky, is he? But it does. It's obvious. The colour stands out.
It's actually one of my favourite colours, funny enough,
Yeah.
over the years. It's the one colour that, if I was using anything that's bright, pink would be a colour that I would... Pink and yellow. I
Yeah.
do like yellow as
But if
well.
you think about it, is there any colour of water that won't stand out in?
No, none.
So that's why mostly I'll use that. I will use orange ones as well. Sometimes I think they stand out quite well as well. Peach.
Yeah.
Peach is one of the one flavours. I really like peach and pepper. I've caught a lot of fish on peach.
Yeah.
It's an all-round summer winter catcher.
Yeah. But it's funny because you could go to one company and buy a peach flavour, and you could go to another company and buy a peach flavour, and their quality and difference in them and catchability on them are streets apart.
Yeah, pineapple is another classic example of that.
Yeah.
Certain companies, it just doesn't work.
No.
I won't profess to know. I don't know how they made them, so I don't know their secrets, so I don't know why one fish is better than the other.
Yeah. It's obviously the chemical makeup, and that also can then, you know, one particular pineapple flavour could work well in this water because the pH level in this lake is a certain pH, and that reacts well, and the fish can pick up on it. And you could take that same pineapple flavour to another lake, and it doesn't do as well because it doesn't have the reactive abilities because it's a different makeup and composition of water there. So I mean, it's going to get a bit technical, this whole bait thing,
It is, yeah. It
so
can
really
get very
you should
technical.
take the technical out of it and just stick with a good food bait and be done with it.
Yeah, I think in a lot of food baits I think the fish in certain lakes, I mean this lake has a lot of snails. Other lakes wouldn't have the amount of snails that this. And I think in sometimes a bait, the fish can pick out in the bait what they're missing from the lake, if you know what the natural food is not providing them with. And I think if you've got a good quality food bait, there's something in there.
Now you roll all your own, and most people don't roll these days. In fact, rolling has become a thing of the past. Everyone buys freezer-made food baits now straight from the companies.
Yeah, I like to roll on the bank every couple of days. It keeps it out of your house, and you know, you're not. I mean, all you need is a bucket and a pot and a gun. That's pretty much it. A rolling table, or sometimes you can do it in your hand. A lot of time, I've a lot of time to sit around and waste anyway, so rolling bait doesn't bother me at all.
And here's the thing, I noticed that you break up all your eggshells and put them into the mix.
Yeah, there's a couple of reasons for that. I did originally. I thought to myself, you know, would I like to eggshells passing through me? I was thinking, if I'm a carp, am I going to like that? And then it's only a couple of times in France you'd open up the sack in the morning, you take the fish out, and there'd be literally a handful of broken zebras and Asian clams and stuff like that. And I thought, okay, well, if they're passing them through, if they're, you know, so I started to use the eggshells then. Then there's the calcium thing. They can get some calcium out of it. There's also the crunch factor, if you want to believe in that. I think there is some sort of, I would believe in it.
There's a theory that if a carp's eating these baits with the shells in them, their pharyngeal plates, when they're noshing them up, it does make a certain sound of vibration in the water that can stimulate other fish into the area and feed.
Yeah, the crunch factor, as they call it. Yeah. I started to believe that. That's, you know, I would give that credence.
Because I have to say, I used to do that when I was rolling my own baits. The problem, one of the things I do like, the Solar have a new bait out called the Seafood Takeaway, and what they've done is they put micro halibut pellets into the boilie mix.
Yeah.
So each boilie has 2 or 3 of these micro pellets in them. So as the carp's crushing them down, it's got that crunchability as well.
All right.
I'm not saying it makes a difference. Who knows? But I mean, in fairness, their bait is doing very well across Europe at the moment. That one in particular, the Seafood Takeaway. But you've come round to using sticky baits now. I knew sticky baits years ago with the Bloodworm pellets, and that was when Jason O'Callaghan was running the show, and the Smurf, whatever they called them. And the Bloodworm pellets were stunning. They really, I loved them in, you know, a mixture. I never use one pellet on their own.
Yeah.
I use a mixture, and I used to always love to put in some Bloodworm pellets into the mix because I thought it made a difference. They used to have these little hookers as well, these little Bloodworm dumbbells, and they were real dinky. If you wanted to winkle out a fish when it was scratching time, you could put one of these on, and usually it did go. So I have a knowledge of sticky baits, not obviously in recent times because it's been taken over by a new crowd and they've
Yeah.
elevated it to a whole new level.
Yeah, it's sort of. I think it's under different management now. Sam and Eric's bought it. I'm not sure if it's changed hands again. Yeah, they've obviously brought out the krill and the vortex. Yeah, so
Well, the krill's absolutely caning it for you. You've been using it a lot.
yeah,
You've had some stupid catches over the last while.
yeah. I've had a lot of the big fish out of here, which is quite good. That's the krill there. You wouldn't.
I mean, it's one of those baits that the minute you smell it, you just know this is going to catch fish. It's just, it boils up reasonably tough without being stupid tough. And when you crack it open, I mean, it's just real seafoody smell, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just got
I love
everything.
seafoods.
Yeah. I mean, this is a throwback from the monster crab days, isn't it? You know, like you made a comment off camera there. So you can repeat it now. It's to do with the worse it smells, the better it seems to catch.
Yeah, I personally, yeah, monster crab, shrimp, krill. I mean, this liquid. I mean, you really don't want to.
This stuff, we were trying to buy some of this in the UK when we went over to Tim Paisley's Carping On show. We were going to buy a couple of these bottles and bring them back on us, and actually we all bottled it literally because if one of these broke in transit on the way back on the flight, you're just screwed.
Yeah,
You'd be binning everything, including the bag. This stuff, I just say, why would you use it? It just is mank. But you know, you do smell it, and the first thing is, but you know, it's that smell that will catch fish, and that's, you know, liquid pure krill. You know, it's got to be a winner. What else have they got? They've got a few.
This is another one I've just got recently. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
L030. This is one of those enzyme soluble fish jobbies. It's a glug, and there's something that Dan, we were chatting the other night. Oh, it's rank again. Dan said, give me anything that you can put in on a bait. You know, like he'll roll up the baits and he might douse some of this on them and let them dry in. But he says, give me anything where you can use as much as you want. You don't have to use like 1 mil of this, 2 mil of that. This is one of those food items that you can actually use the whole bottle if you want to, and you're not going to damage the fish, you're not going to turn the fish off. You cannot overdo it with these,
No,
can
you cannot overdo it, no.
And that's, you know, that's the real essence of what a food bait should be.
Yeah,
You shouldn't have anything in it that's overkilling. I mean, you don't flavour your boilies, do you? It comes with a powder. But there's actually no liquid when you're making up. There is actually no liquid in the eggs.
There is, yeah.
Oh, there is. What
Yeah.
you putting something sneaky in, are you?
No. What's in here? Hang on.
All right, we're going to see what he's putting in his krill boilies now.
No, where's it going? That's the base mix there,
Right.
and it comes in the packet. You get 3 bottles.
Yeah, and that's the liquid in them.
That's the liquid, yeah. That's
Right.
all you need to put in.
And so it's a bit rank, isn't it?
A bit.
So basically, you'd make up how many eggs per mix?
Normally I do a 12 egg mix.
12 egg mix, and then you'd put in.
I'd normally put in 1 bottle per 12 eggs.
Right. And that's 5 kilo of base mix.
Yeah.
And 12 eggs, you've got what, 3 sets of 12 out of this, would you?
Pretty much 3 sets of 12. That's usually what it does, yeah.
See, that's to be honest with you, if you're making up bait, that's a nice little system. I like that because you're not having to buy loads of crap. You know, what you got is your base mix, 5 kilos. It's got 3 bottles in it with your flavour and or your liquid, and off you go. It's just making life a little bit more simple for you. So you seem to really rate the sticky baits, don't you? And in fact, you're going to be using them in France.
Yeah.
You now are bringing that into your 66Wild chores that you're doing.
Yeah, so
they're going to be your bait of choice for France, and I think you're going to have a lot of success in them. Because if anything in here's to go by, you know, you've been absolutely caning the fish of late. So that's just a little chat about bait. Food source bait is the only way to go. Using a high quality one.
Just increasing your chances.
Yeah, and establish it. That's the big one. Make sure you're trickling it into the lake. You don't have to put in tons of bait, but you know, a couple of kilo a week would certainly
Yeah.
improve your chances of catching.
Definitely, yeah.
Anything else you need to add?
No. I think
You're
we
pretty
covered-
good with that?
Yeah, I think we covered
Well,
everything.
look, this has been a little chat on the bank with someone else other than me. This is Oddie's Angling TV, and we'll see you in the next video. You can check out the extensive sticky baits range at mainirishangling.com.